What's up, you guys? It's Chile here. Today I'm going to be showing you a really easy recipe involving potatoes, which are my favorite. It's really only like 3 ingredients plus seasoning, so let's jump right in. Alright, guys, so these are called Hasselback potatoes. I assume I'm pronouncing it right. I've seen it spelled different ways too, so don't judge me. But super easy. We're literally just gonna cut up potatoes into like teeny little slivers, but we don't go all the way through, and then you stick them in the oven and they bake really nicely, where the outside's like really crispy and the inside's really tender and soft, you know, as potatoes should be. So I'm cutting here. I already did the first one. I'm only gonna make like 4 potatoes today, so you can kind of just adjust for the number of people that you're cooking for. I basically only feed myself, so 4 potatoes should last me the week. And this makes like a really good side dish, or if you're just crazy about potatoes like me, maybe this could be your main course. So when you're cutting into it, you want to make sure you don't go all the way down. So I'm kind of stopping maybe like a third of the way to the bottom. If you don't trust yourself with a knife to not go all the way through, what you can do is get like chopsticks or wooden spoons or something and literally like line them up on the sides like this, so that when you go down, it stops it. But other than that, you want to make them about as thin as you can. I would say like mine are coming out the thickness of like maybe 2 slices of cheese, something like that. It's that joke where like Americans will measure everything in anything but any sort of metric system. Yeah, we're doing that here. Okay, and be super careful with the knife. They're sharp. It's probably gonna help you out a lot if you use the sharpest knife you can find in your house, because potatoes are not the softest critters in the world. Yeah, so I got another one done here. Oops. Yeah, so that happens. I'm just gonna leave it in there and hopefully it cooks right alongside its buddies. But yeah, I've seen this recipe kind of in general floating around, especially because it's like the holiday season, but I've never tried it, so this is gonna be an experiment also. But it looks really, really good and super easy to make. And the cool part is it looks like really fancy. So if you wanted to take it to like, I don't know, a family gathering or something like that, you could probably totally impress other people because it looks and tastes really cool. But it really isn't a whole lot of work. Like after you cut the potatoes, it's all super easy from there. Just a heads up too, you could probably already get your oven preheated to 450. If you didn't notice, I'm not in my kitchen, in my tiny little RV, but I'm borrowing the little kitchen that we have at work. We rent out like a little clubhouse and it has a kitchen. So this kitchen's much bigger and nicer and spacious and beautiful and clean because I cleaned it already. Chetos. Well, yes. So we're just gonna throw that in the oven like that, I guess. Or I can cut it maybe, and it'll just be a separate little nugget of potato chunk. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so now we're gonna get a little pan and I'm gonna deck it out with foil. So let me show you that here. So I have the oven preheating, and I would highly recommend, if you have it, to use like a tray that comes up and has like some depth to it. I, however, do not have something like that, so I'm improvising and using just putting foil on top and basically bringing the edges up so that it has some sort of depth to it. Yeah, this channel is quickly becoming about how to improvise in the kitchen and make do with what you have. You're welcome. So we're gonna take all our potatoes. This is how we have them cut up. Can you see that So there's just like a little gaps in between. Like I said, the slices, I guess, should be as thin as you can make them. Kind of the thickness of a couple cheeses, slices, yeah. And then I'm just gonna kind of space them out on my tray. If you're making more potatoes, you probably have a bigger pan than I do. Mine's kind of little because my oven's little. But we're gonna go ahead and start seasoning them. So remember, oil, I'm gonna use olive oil. I'm gonna use one of those little, I never know what tools are called, I'm sorry. One sec, I'll grab it. Okay, I just brought everything over here so that it's closer. But this, like the little brushy, I promise my hands are clean. Okay, but the little brushy thingy. So we're gonna take the oil. I'm all about eyeballing things. So we're just gonna, the more you practice cooking, the more you're gonna know how much to put. But I'm just gonna kind of drizzle it onto the little brush and then brush it over. And you can kind of hold the bottom of the potato so that it like opens it up a little bit and the oil kind of goes more into it, into each of the little like crevices. And if you want to put a lot of oil and make it more crispy, go for it. You could even put butter, like melted butter over it if you want. The cool thing about this recipe too is it's vegan friendly, vegetarian friendly, you and me friendly. Okay, so if you want to be really delicious, go ahead and just like twirl your potato in the oil so that it gets all around on every single side of it too. That'll really help it crisp. Yeah, you probably want to use like a generous amount of oil. It's what's gonna make the texture correct. And I'm getting all dirty, but like always, this gets messy really fast. I don't know how to keep a neat cooking station. That's not my job. My job is to make food that is yummy for my tummy, and then it goes in, and then I eat it, and then I'm happy. The cleaning part is a whole different story. So remember, the third ingredient is going to be garlic. So I just basically smashed the skins off. So all you do is put it there, take the blunt end of, like not the blunt, the flat side of the knife, put it on top, and then mash it. And then it kind of makes the skin just fall off. Or skin, is that the word? The cascara. I don't know. You know, the thingy. Okay. So I'm only using like 3 cloves. If you want to use more or less, just depending on how much you love garlic, go for it. It's not even really gonna go on the potato. You kind of just set it like in the little sauces, the juices that are gonna come out of it. And protein. Okay, so I have all my potatoes all cut up right here, and my garlic sitting there ready for the juices to come out. So from here, it's kind of just optional what kind of seasonings you want to put. I want to do salt for sure before we put it in, because it's probably the only thing that gives anything flavor. And you could be kind of generous with the salt too, because I feel like potatoes absorb it pretty well. I don't know if absorb is the right word, but you get what I'm saying. I've seen people use like rosemary because I think it goes really good with garlic, but I don't have that, so I'm gonna use parsley. And just put a dollop on each one. It looks so fancy, just adding the little green flakes. Okay, and then I kind of want a teeny bit of spice, so I'm gonna try crushed red peppers, see if that does anything. I'm kind of putting a lot. And we can always add more when we take it out of the oven in 30 minutes, because then we're gonna cook it in another 30 minutes. So let me put it in and we'll be right back. Alright, just so you can see before I stick it in the oven, this is what I've got so far. Just My garlic's kind of thrown there, all the seasonings are sprinkled on top, and the potatoes are slightly opened from their little crevices, but they'll open a little bit better once we cook them. Alright, it's been 30 minutes, so I went ahead and took them out of the oven. So what we want to do now is use the little extra juice, I guess oil, that's sitting around down here, and we're going to brush it on top. If you need to add more oil, like mine's kind of dry, like there's not a whole lot to be grabbing from up here. So if that's the case, you can go ahead and just pour a little more, but also make sure you put more seasonings. This is what they look like right before I stick them back in the oven. I went ahead and put a lot more oil on each one, and a lot more seasonings. You can do the same. I also took out all of the garlic cloves because they were all burnt. And then just stick it in the oven for another 30 minutes. And by the time you pull it out, they should be ready. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. They're done. I already let them cool off. And I have one that I'm ready to try. So I don't know if you're supposed to eat like a whole one or if you kind of just cut it off, but I'm gonna use my hands. So the bottom's pretty crispy, and for extra flavor I kind of like rolled it in the oil again once they came out. So if you want to do that, go for it. If that's gonna make it too like oily for you, don't do it. I just did it on one to try it, but okay. It's actually kind of spicy because of the red peppers, but it's good. Like there's not, the salt isn't overpowering. Like you saw how much I put, but it's actually at a really good amount. And yeah, I like how the skin and kind of the outer part and the bottom is really crispy, but the actual like white part of the potato is still really like soft and potato-like, kind of like me. I hope yours came out just as good as mine. If you liked the video, then feel free to share it with somebody else you think might like. Maybe subscribe, like. But yeah, come back soon.